TESOL's founding father for his 21 years of service to TESOL as TESOL's first executive director. We are extremely fortunate and very lucky that Dr. Alatis is with us here today in Portland with his wife, Penny Alatis, and his sons. Thank you very much for being here. Very good. We have now officially retired the Alatis jerseys. And so we have something to see about this.
Executive Director. He was, in fact, the second member of the TESOL Association, the first member being his beloved wife, Penny Alatis. And this year, to honor Jim and Penny, the TESOL Association retired their jerseys. Now, for those of you from cultures where this is not a cultural practice, my understanding, and I'm not really heard of this subculture, is sports. My understanding is that when a really great player retires from a team, his number is retired and is never used again. And so this year, the TESOL Association retired numbers 1 and 2, Penny and Jim Alatis respectively.
Good job, dude.
Thank you, Kathy, for doing this. Very honored too. Now, the purpose of this prestigious award is to acknowledge outstanding and extended service to the TESOL International Association. It is the dream of every TESOL member, myself included, to be the recipient of such a coveted award. Luckily, I have the next biggest honor, and that is to present this year's winner. Now to this year's recipient of the Alatis Award, Professor Neil Anderson. Let me tell you a little bit about Professor Anderson. He's a professor in the Department of Linguistics and English Language, Brigham Young University in Utah. He teaches courses in the TESOL Master's programs, as well as language classes to second language learners. I met 3 of them today. I was very lucky to meet his students. Dr. Anderson's research interests include language reading, motivation in L2 teaching and learning, and English language teaching leadership development, and I want to focus on that. You'll hear a story about this. It's impossible to detail all of Neil Anderson's service to TESOL and to the profession, so I'll only concentrate on a few of his many roles with TESOL. In terms of his contribution to TESOL's knowledge base, he has taught and presented papers and workshops in over 40 countries. He's the author, co-author, and co-editor of over 50 books, 50 chapters, chapters, and professional articles, and he doesn't stop. When I looked over Professor Anderson's CV, I noted that he has 2 books and a chapter forthcoming. It's amazing. And he has published 2 chapters already in 2014. As a reading specialist, he's the author of the best-selling series, Active Skills for Reading. Besides TESOL, Professor Anderson is a member of the Board of Directors of Reading Horizons, and he was also the chair of the Board of Trustees of the International Research Foundation, TIRF, as well as a member of the board. He is and has been a member of many editorial or advisory boards of journals, such as Reading in a Foreign Language, the Reading Matrix, TESOL Electronic Journal. I can go on and on. Professor Anderson has done so much for TESOL, and now he's still in service to TESOL. He's serving as a member of TESOL's Research Agenda Task Force. He was a member of the Convention Task Force 2011-2012. He was president of TESOL International from 2001 to 2002. He served on the TESOL board earlier from 1996 to 99, and he was the 1998 convention chair. Can you see how much he's done for TESOL? Not only that, he was the editor of the Teacher Education IS in 1991 and 93. And even before that, back in the 80s, I'm sorry, Neil, I'm making you going back to the 80s, he was a member of that wonderful TESOL committee, the TESOL Awards Committee, that gives out money. It's lovely. Now, finally, the major contribution, which is very, very personal for me. Neil Anderson has had a major impact in my professional life, and there is no way that I would be here today as an Egyptian EFL teacher standing here as TESOL president were it not for Neil Anderson. I have a story to tell, and Neil has not heard this before, and it's the first time for him. A few years ago, and I'm not going to say how many years ago, Neil approached me and said, Dina, I want you to take the Leadership Mentoring Program, the LMP, and I'm going to be your mentor. At that time, I was a teacher. I really didn't think about being a leader at all, and I did something awful. You won't believe, and I'm going to confess in front of all of you. I lied. I said, my boss, it doesn't approve, so let's keep it for next year. Would you believe Neil came next year and asked me the same question? I was too embarrassed the second time, and I said yes, reluctantly. And it was no turning back. I got the LMP, I started serving in all the different TESOL committees, and here I am today. Neil, thank you so much. And so now, as the 2014 recipient of the James E. Alatis Award, is another laurel yet to add to his extensive CV. I am very proud and honored to present the James E. Alatis Award to Professor Neil Anderson.
Dina, thank you very much for that kind introduction, and I express appreciation to you and to the members of the Board of Directors for this great honor. It is for me an honor to receive the Alatis Award, and especially to have Jim and Penny here in the audience with us this morning. I first met Jim Alatis in 1981 when my colleague and mentor, Marianne Christensen, invited Dr. Alatis to come to Salt Lake City to do some training for ESL teachers. At that time, I was extremely impressed with Jim's energy and his passion for the profession and for the professional association. In 1985 is when I first met his lovely wife, Penny. And as soon as I met Penny, I began to understand Jim's energy. He gets most of it from her. Jim, you and Penny have had a significant impact on my service in TESOL, and as I said, I am greatly honored to receive this award today. I'm especially pleased that my wife is able to join me here for the award this morning. I'm an ESL teacher and teacher educator because of her. Like many undergraduate students, I went through a degree crisis. And when I decided that majoring in international business was not something that I was going to do, my wife suggested that I consider teaching English as a second language. From the day that I made that decision and entered the master's program, I have not looked back. Every morning I wake up very happy and energized that I can train ESL learners and teachers. I credit Marianne Christensen for mentoring me so closely within TESOL International Association. Early in our work together, she encouraged me to get involved in TESOL, its interest sections and affiliates. Marianne, you have always been an exceptional leader for me to follow. Through my involvement with TESOL, I've been tutored by some tremendous leaders. I express gratitude to the TESOLers who served with me on the boards of directors from 1996 to 99 and from 2000 to 2004. You are colleagues who have taught me great lessons about teaching and leadership. In particular, I would like to express gratitude to TESOL leaders who have served as close mentors and friends. Donald Freeman, Denise Murray, Kathy Bailey, David Noonan, Barbara Schwarte, Mary Lou McCluskey, June Liu, Christine Kuhn, and Andy Curtis. To each of you, I express my appreciation for helping me to become a better TESOLer. To my colleagues at Brigham Young University, I express my gratitude. It's great to wake up every day knowing that we can work together to improve English language teaching and learning. And to my current students, I encourage you to get involved in TESOL so that you can serve in this great organization. TESOL International Association provides the perfect venue for each of us to grow and develop as professionals and engage in activities that will help us become better teachers and better leaders. Thank you very much.